Hello and welcome to Homer for December 16th, 2024. Eira kai alon wiston po neure finialen. Hectoros anticru paleende he hieto tu mos. Kai tu men afamarth. Hoda mumona gotiona. Huionurun primoio. Catastetos paleni ioi. What is this? Hionon primoio. Catastetos paleni ioi. Ton rex aisumeten, opuio menete che meter, cale castianere, te masei quia te esin, me condos heterose, care palenheten i cepoi, car poi pri tomenei, notie siti eira enesin, eirinesin, hos heterose amuse, care pele kiparunten, Taucrus dalon oiston, apo neure finialen, Hectoros anticru, paleende hietotumos, alloge gaetothemate, paresfelen garapolon. Alla heptolemon trasun Hectoros en iokeia, hiemenon polemon de paleste ethos paramazdon, eripetex okeon hyperoesan de hippoi, occupides tu dauti lute psyche te menoste. Occupides tu dauti lute psyche te menoste. All right, sweet. Sorry, trying to get even better and better at my rhythm, but experimenting, trying to do a lot more musical stuff too. Anyway, and he let loose another arrow from his bowstring, and it was going toward opposite of Hector, and he had it in his spirit to strike him, in his tumos to strike him, but he missed, and instead he hit the peerless Gorguthion, and this was a well-born son of Priam, and it struck him in the chest. What is this? Just going, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. With an arrow. He struck him in the chest with an arrow. And this was a man who was born of a mother of Isumene, who is what is this? Yeah, who was married by Priam, and the mother was beautiful Castianera, who has a body and a likenesses to the goddesses, and this is where we get very pretty. And as a poppy, what is this? He went one side, his head kind of like as a poppy kind of sways, right, as it bends its head, kare balen, I assume, right? When it's whenever it is heteni in its garden, it's heavy, fruited with the dew and also spring, right? Then to the side, his head, his beautiful helmet, bent, right? And then Teucer let loose another arrow from his bowstring, opposite of Hector, minded to kill him, but he missed again. This time Apollo swerved the arrow, I believe, caused a glance off to the side, but he hit strong Archeptolemus, and this is Hector's chariot driver, who's going into war, driving him into war. It hit him, just above the breast, right, and it struck him there in his chest, and he fell from the chariot, and his horses reared back with their swift feet, and right away there was a Lucis. His spirit and strength were taken from him. Anyway, there's a lot of poppy bending passages in the Iliad, and I really like them just because it's a great monumentalization of what is a seemingly mundane act of dying, right? So you get hit by an arrow, and what happens after that? This word kare, right, I think it's quite, it's like, it's not just a head, I guess, right? You don't really think of a very strong warrior as being a flower, right? But for Homer, that's the perfect, metaphor. And there's something about like, in the dew of spring, right? Bearing fruit, then, the poppy wavers to one side and then falls, right? Like, if you think about it, I mean, that takes a whole entire year, right? And then when the poppy dies, then, falls to the ground, then the seeds hopefully scatter somewhere, right? Or maybe they don't. Maybe that's the point here, is that the seeds never get to scatter, right? But, maybe it's the same for like a Homeric warrior, where they spend their whole lives waiting for their time of spring, right? And then when they're fully laden with dew and, springness, then they go off to war, and in such a way, right, like his helmeted head, right, being laden with dew, being laden with the helmet, right, it falls to the side, right. Anyway, I just think it's really pretty, and it's a great like sense of like the Brits, they think of the poppies that rose from the ground after World War I battles. That's why they have the poppy as their sort of rallying cry for veterans, right? Because the fields would bloom with poppies after the trench warfare, and it's a very sad image, and yet at the same time it's very sensitive, and it brings out some of the humanity of what is one very quick arrow ending a long line of beautiful people, I guess, as far as Priam, Isume, and Castianera and these three lines goes. So this is 3 lines of who gets struck, right, and this sort of mechanical passage here, right, 3 lines of who he is, and then 3 lines of the poppy metaphor. I think that's a great lineup. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, and have a great day. Bye.